In lecture series on Introduction to Radar System, we are going to discuss radar receiver along with noise. Most of the time, radar receivers are super heterodyne type receiver. So this is the basic block diagram of super heterodyne receiver. The received RF signal must transform into video signal to get the wanted information from the echoes. This transformation is made by this super heterodyne receiver. The super heterodyne receiver changes the RF frequency into an easier to process lower IF frequency. This IF frequency will be amplified and demodulated to get a video signal. So this is the basic block. We will discuss each block. The RF carrier comes in from the antenna and is applied to a filter. The output of the filter are only the frequencies of the desired frequency band. These frequencies are applied to the mixer stage. The mixer also receives an input from the local oscillator. These two signals are bit together to obtain the IF or intermediate frequency through the process of heterodyning. There is a fixed difference in frequency between the local oscillator and the RF signal at all times by tuning the local oscillator. This difference in frequency is the intermediate frequency. This fixed difference and gang tuning ensures a constant IF over the frequency range of the receiver. This fixed difference in frequency is achieved actually. The IF carrier is applied to the IF amplifier. The amplified IF is then sent to the detector. The output of the detector is the video component of the input signal. Image frequency filter. A low noise RF amplifier stage ahead of the converter stage provides enough selectivity to reduce the image frequency response by rejecting these unwanted signals and adds to the sensitivity of the receiver. This one. The borders of the bandwidth of this amplifier are chosen to eliminate the image frequencies. Many older radar receivers do not use this low noise preamplifier or RF stage as the receiver front end. They simply send the echo signal directly to the crystal mixer stage. Now we will consider the mixer stage. The mixer stage is used to decrease the received frequency to an intermediate frequency. The mixer also receives an input from the local oscillator. These two signals are bit together to obtain the IF through the process of heterodyning. So FIF equal to FRF incoming signal minus local oscillator frequency, and FIF is also equal to frequency of local oscillator minus frequency of RF, because it is the difference between these two. There are not any components which can distinguish a negative frequency of with a positive frequency. Therefore, we can measure the magnitude of the frequency only. So instead of taking difference may be negative, so instead of taking the negative frequency, we will take actually the magnitude of this difference. The result is a second reception frequency as a mirror image around the intermediate frequency. So assuming an intermediate frequency of 60 MHz, the local oscillator will track at a frequency of 60 MHz higher than the incoming signal. So for example, suppose the receiver is tuned to pick up a signal on a frequency of 1030 MHz. So the local oscillator will be operating at a frequency of 1090 MHz because intermediate frequency is 60 MHz. The received and local oscillator signals are mixed or heterodyned in the converter stage, and one of the frequencies resulting from this mixing action is the difference between two signals, or 60 MHz, which is the IF frequency. This IF is then amplified in the IF stages and sent on to the detector and audio stages. Now, any signal at a frequency of 60 MHz that appears on the plate of the converter circuit will be accepted by the IF amplifier and passed on. So, on a receiver with no RF amplifier, the input to the converter is rather broadly tuned, and some signals other than the desired signals will get through to the input jack of the converter stage. Normally, these other signals will mix with the local oscillator signal and produce frequencies that are outside the bandpass of the 60 MHz IF amplifier and will be rejected. However, if there is a station operating on a frequency of say 1150 MHz and this signal passes through the rather broad tuned input circuit and appears on the input jack of the converter stage, it too will mix with the local oscillator and produce a frequency of 60 MHz, because 1150 minus 1090 is again 60. So this signal will also accepted by the IF amplifier stage and passed on. Thus, both signals will be indicated on the screen. So this is known as the image frequency interference, and this particular station of this frequency is the image of the actual station or actual carrier frequency. Now we will consider the IF filter. This filter must filter the desired intermediate frequency out from the mixture frequency arising in the mixer stage. It is designed as one or more band passes. Normally, the bandpass is as narrow as possible without affecting the actual signal energy. When a selection of pulse width is available, such as short and long pulses, the bandpass must be able to match the bandwidth of the two different signals. The IF amplifier. The IF amplifier has the capability to vary both the bandpass and the gain of the receiver. After conversion to the intermediate frequency, the signal is amplified in several IF amplifier stages. Most of the gain of the receiver is developed in the IF amplifier stages. The overall bandwidth of the receiver is often determined by the bandwidth of the IF stages. Gain must be variable to provide a constant voltage output for input signals of different amplitudes. Next one is the detector. Generally, this is the simplest form of the detector, diode detector or envelope detector. So it consists of an simple diode and capacitor along with certain resistance. Resistances are not shown here. So if this is the input signal, RF signal, then this diode will behave like an rectifier, and this capacitance along with resistance will determine its envelope. So if this is the RF, the detector output will be the envelope of this RF. The detector in a microwave receiver serves to convert the IF pulses into video pulses. The simplest form of detector is the diode detector. It detects the pulse envelope. The condenser has got the function of a low pass and blocks the IF frequency. In addition to the amplitude modulation, there are possible other types of modulation may be there. Different modulations may be there. Now the video amplifier. The video amplifier receives pulses from the detector and amplifies these pulses for application to the indicating devices or the displays. A video amplifier is fundamentally an RC coupled amplifier that uses high gain transistors. However, a video amplifier must be capable of relatively wide frequency response. The output stage of the receiver is normally an emitter follower. The low impedance output of the emitter follower matches the impedance of the cable. The video pulses are coupled through the cable to the indicator for video display on the CRT. Next is the local oscillator. The local oscillator excites a frequency for mixing with the incoming signal to get the intermediate frequency. Most radar receivers use megahertz intermediate frequency with a value between 30 to 75 megahertz. The IF is produced by mixing a local oscillator signal with the incoming signal. The local oscillator is therefore essential to efficient operation and must be both tunable and very stable. For example, if the local oscillator frequency is 3000 megahertz or 3 gigahertz, a frequency change of 0.1% will produce a frequency shift of 3 megahertz. This is equal to the bandwidth of most receivers and would greatly decrease receiver gain. The power output requirement for most local oscillator is small, nearly 20 to 50 milliwatts, because most receivers use crystal mixers that require very little power. The local oscillator output frequency must be tunable over a range of several megahertz in the 4000 megahertz region or 4 gigahertz region. The local oscillator must compensate for any changes in the transmitted frequency and maintain a constant 30 or 75 megahertz difference between the oscillator and the transmitter frequency. A local oscillator then that can be tuned by varying the applied voltage is most desirable. Now we will consider the noise. Noise is a random unwanted signal. Now one can hear it in acoustic signals as an additional constant fizzle. One can see it as a variation of brightness or color information in a picture or a video sequence. Just like if you consider case of CRT, you will observe this type of fluctuations due to noise. The noise is most apparent in regions with low signal levels, such as weak received echo signal in radar receiver. Noise is characterized by its statistical properties. Noise that contains all frequencies with equal amplitude is called white noise. The white noise contains equal power within a fixed bandwidth at any center frequency. Now, white noise draws its name from white light, in which the power spectral density of the light is distributed over the visible band. Another type of electronic noise is frequency dependent with a 1/f or so-called pink spectrum. Now, noise occurs in almost all electronic devices and results from a variety of effects. The sources of noise arise from inside and outside a circuit. Along with the signal power, a noise power, that is the interference power, is received by the radar antenna. The received noise depends on the frequency f and the receiver's bandwidth b. Antenna equivalent noise temperature is often quoted, noting that it is elevation angle dependent. This interference power comes from extraterrestrial radiation sources like galactic or cosmic noise, mainly in the Milky Way, absorption of electromagnetic radiation in the atmosphere, and the noise temperature of the Earth itself. Since this noise can't be separated from the backscatter radar signals, the received noise will be amplified like the radar signals in all stages of the radar receiver too. Noise sources within the circuit produce an internal noise power, whose most frequent causes are semiconductor noise and thermal noise of ohmic resistances or conductances, and the noise current of charge carrier flow. The thermal noise is based on the irregular movement of the charge carriers in the resistive material, contributing to the current flow. The noise of a system or network can be defined in three different but related ways. One is the noise factor, another is the noise figure, and with the help of equivalent noise temperature. So first consider the noise factor. The noise factor, written as Fn, F suffix n. The noise factor of a device specifies how much additional noise the device will contribute to the noise already from the source. The noise factor at a specified input frequency is defined as the ratio of available output noise power to the available output noise due to source. Or in other words, Fn can be written as Si by Ni divided by So by No. So obviously this noise factor is a dimensionless because it is the ratio of same type of parameters. Now consider the noise figure. It is the noise factor converted to decibel. So it is a measure of degradation of signal to noise ratio caused by components in the RF signal chain for a given bandwidth. So it is the increase in noise power of a device from the input to the output that is greater than that the signal gain. Like gain, noise figure can be expressed either as a ratio or in decibel. The noise figure of a modern receiver is in technical data sheets generally expressed in decibel with a typical value between 8 to 10 dB. Now we may also think of noise figure as a factor by which a receiver degrades the signal to noise ratio of a signal passing through it. So if you consider this input power level, so this is the noise floor. If you see this signal in a spectrum analyzer, so x-axis is the frequency axis, y-axis is the power level. So if the input power is this, so this is the signal component, and this is the difference between the noise floor and the signal power. But at the output side, as you can see, the signal power is minus 60 dBm almost. So in the receiver you can amplify it, so it becomes minus 40 dBm. Signal power becomes minus 40 dBm, enhanced by nearly 20 dB. But along with the signal, noise is also get amplified. Not only that, new noise will be added by the system. So now this noise is nearly minus 70 dBm, and this becomes now the difference between signal to noise. As you can see, this difference is now lower than the input side. So though we have amplified it, the signal is amplified minus 60 to minus 40, but at the same time, because of additional noise, in previous input noise was minus 100 dBm, but now the noise becomes nearly minus 70 dBm. So it is enhanced by nearly 30 dBm. That means the difference between signal and noise is lesser at the output of the system compared to the input. So that's the problem. Now the noise temperature. Noise in a system can also be expressed as an equivalent noise temperature TE. At a pair of terminals, the temperature of the passive system having an available noise power per unit bandwidth at specified frequency equal to that of the actual terminals of a network. The noise in receiving system can be of thermal origin, it is called the thermal noise, or can be from other noise generating processes. Most of these other processes generate noise whose spectrum and probability distributions are similar to thermal noise. Because of these similarities, the contributions of all noise sources can be lumped together and regarded as thermal noise. The minimum signal level that can be detected is limited by the thermal noise captured by the antennas facing a black body, which is at room temperature nearly 290 Kelvin, and noise generated within the subsystems of the receiver. Now we have the relationship of this noise temperature with the noise factor by this T0 equal to Fn minus 1. So this is the relationship. T0 is the ambient temperature, so you can take it as 290 Kelvin. Now in previous slide we have discussed the noise factor of a particular system. Now if number of systems, number of components are cascaded together to form a system, then we have to calculate the overall noise factor or overall noise temperature or the overall noise performance of that whole system. So if we have n number of such components cascade together, then the equivalent noise factor of n number of components can be written as nf1 plus nf2 minus 1 divided by g1 plus nf3 minus 1 by g1 g2 plus and so on. So if the last stage is n, then nfn minus 1 divided by g1 g2 up to gn minus 1. So this is the effective noise factor for the system of n number of cascade receivers. So here this one is the effective noise factor, and nf1, nf2, nf3, all these are the noise factor of first, second and all the components up to nth component, and g1, g2, g3, these are the gain of the first, second and nth component. Similarly, noise temperature of the same cascade receiver can be written as T equivalent or TEQ equal to T1 plus T2 by G1 plus T3 by G1 G2 plus and so on, where this T equivalent is the effective noise temperature of the cascade system, and T1, T2, T3, these are the equivalent noise temperature of the first, second and all the other components respectively. Now if you observe these equations or expressions carefully, you can see that the first stage plays an important role in the equivalent noise of the noise performance of the cascade receiver, because all the other terms are divided by the gain. So this first term, there is no denominator. So if the G1 is made very high, in that case all these subsequent terms becomes negligibly small, and if we can make this first stage NF1 noise factor of the first stage as small as possible, then the overall noise factor will also get reduced. Similar thing happens for the noise temperature. If T1 is made minimum and G1 is made maximum or high, very high, in that case all these except the first term, all these other terms will be negligibly small, because if G1 is very high, then the denominator becomes very large, so all the terms, these terms will be negligibly small. And if we can make this T1 very small, then T equivalent will also be very small. So it is said that for cascade receiver, the first stage is the most important stage, and that is why most of the time the first stage is the RF stage, and we have to make this RF stage as a very high gain and very less noisy, because of this reason, because that will make the overall noise temperature or overall noise factor to minimum. So this is all about noise and the receivers. So we'll see you in the next class.